It's precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Romesh Piris and read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. The State Minister of Urban Development says the President has not deviated from his vision of pursuing of government policy framework, vistas of prosperity and splendour. The CBSL says Sri Lanka will meet its debt obligation by the end of 2021. Sri Lanka's COVID-19 caseload is on the rise. The Excise Department states over 36,000 persons arrested in illegal liquor and narcotics raids during the past year. The Water Supply Minister says the water tariff will increase if electricity tariff goes up. A new Intercity train service to begin between Fort and Badulla from today. The enjoining order against Chinese fertilizer payments extended. And in world news, Asian nations stepping up anti-infection measures. And in sports news, Galle Gladiators face Jaffna Kings in repeat of last season's final. Now the local news in detail. The State Minister of Urban Development, Coast Conservation, Waste Disposal and Public Sanitation, Dr. Nalaka Godaheva says President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has not deviated from his vision of pursuing of government policy framework, vistas of prosperity and splendour. Dr. Godaheva mentioned this while participating in the Das Desin program conducted by the SLBC this morning. He further stressed that all Lankans should extend their earnest support to realise the President's vision for the betterment of the country. Furthermore, Dr. Godaheva underscored the government's achievement in conducting a successful vaccination campaign island-wide despite many challenges faced by the government as a result of the pandemic. Another 215 COVID-19 cases have been detected today in the country, raising the number of confirmed infections to 581,595. Accordingly, 693 coronavirus cases have been detected in Sri Lanka yesterday. The epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health said 8,558 persons are currently receiving treatment for coronavirus at several facilities across the country. Earlier today, 311 persons who recovered from COVID-19 were discharged from hospitals, raising the number of recoveries in the country to 558,226. 2,292 suspected COVID-19 cases are also under medical observation at present. Sri Lanka's coronavirus death toll is currently at 14,811. The Excise Department states that 36,067 persons have been arrested in illegal liquor and narcotics raids during the past year, and fines imposed on the arrested suspects add up to 116 million rupees. Its media spokesperson Kapila Kumar Singha stated that out of the 36,067 arrested, 4,882 have been identified as women. The majority, 18,572 suspects, have been arrested for possession, transportation and sale of illegally manufactured spirits. Meanwhile, 2,296 persons have been arrested for possession of heroin, while the total value of the items seized during the raids has been calculated to over 400 million rupees. The Water Supply Minister Vasudeva Nanekkara says the tariff in water will have to be increased if the electricity tariff is increased due to the increase in fuel prices. He said discussions on this were held with the relevant sections. The minister further said the fuel prices increase is not an issue for the water supply system, but it will be an issue if the electricity tariff is increased. However, he added that no decision has been taken on increasing water tariffs as yet. An intercity train service between the Colombo Fort Station and Badulla will commence today. Accordingly, 2 trains' journeys have been added to the service, with a train leaving the Fort Station to Badulla today, while another leaving the Badulla Station to Colombo tomorrow. The Railway General Manager said new trains will operate at the same time as the night mails between Colombo and Badulla using the advanced S14 power sets. Accordingly, a train will leave the Colombo Fort Station to Badulla at 8:30 p.m. and another will leave the Badulla Station to Colombo at 5:50 p.m. daily. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news, the Colombo Commercial High Court extended the enjoining order issued against Qingdao Seawind Biotech Chinese company, its local agent Jovena Capital Corporation and the People's Bank until January 6, 2022. The case was taken up before the Colombo High Court Judge Pradeep Hettiarachchi. The enjoining order was extended by the judge after considering the case filed by the Colombo Commercial Fertilizer Company. According to the letter of credit issued on behalf of the Chinese company, the additional Solicitor General had requested the court to issue an enjoining order restraining the company or its local agency from making or receiving payments from the People's Bank. The Environment Ministry has decided to implement a program to reduce paper usage within Parliament. The Environment Minister Mahinda Amaravira said that a number of documents, books and paper material are seen on the tables of MPs daily when Parliament sessions are on. He said that he would propose to the Speaker to appoint a parliamentary select committee at the party leaders' meeting to implement a program that would reduce the usage of paper and the House of Legislature. The ministry said the program will come into effect from 2022 January. The U.S. Embassy has issued a message on its official Twitter account urging people who have obtained U.S. visas in 2020 and 2021 and have not been able to travel to the United States due to COVID-19 or any other reason to contact the U.S. Embassy consulate immediately. The message stated that the matter should be reported to Consular Colombo at state.gov. The message further stated that after analyzing the incidents, steps will be taken to resolve the issues. The Fisheries Minister Douglas Devananda says Indian boats engaged in illegal fishing and other activities in Sri Lankan territorial waters will be impounded by the Sri Lankan government. Subsequently, these boats will be handed over to the divisional fisheries associations to be used in fishing activities. Minister Devananda further said steps will be taken to compensate local fishermen affected by selling unusable boats seized during operations. The Fisheries Minister made these comments while visiting the Jaffna Mailati fishing port to observe the confiscated Indian trawlers that were seized during operations by Sri Lankan authorities. The Chinese government has donated 8 life-saving kidney dialysis machines worth 20 million rupees to hospitals in the northern and eastern provinces. The ambassador of China to Sri Lanka, Chi Jeng-hong, symbolically handed over the donation to opposition leader Sajith Premadasa on Wednesday. The medical equipment was donated after a request made by the Samagi Jana Balavegia leader for the party's Husmak initiative. With that, we end the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka says measures are being taken at present to ensure that by the end of 2021, official reserves will remain above $3 billion. Issuing a statement, the CBSL said despite the headwinds of the economic impact of COVID-19 and challenges posed by adverse developments in the external sector, the Sri Lankan economy showed resilience throughout 2021. It added Sri Lanka also successfully met its debt obligation by repaying foreign loans, including the payments of international sovereign bonds. That was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, the police headquarters says the public can use the 1917 number to send a SMS to report any illegal activities or have reasonable or suspicious information regarding any illegal acquisition of assets. The 1917 number is available around the clock to accept complaints. The Illegal Assets and Property Investigation Division, headed by the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department, was established recently to investigate such information. That came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
Christmas and New Year sales with CIB Janujaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable prizes and vouchers for CIB beers during the entire month of December. 20% discount will be given for bank cards and for gift vouchers. Visit CIB today as well.
The headlines of the world news. Asian nations stepping up anti-infection measures. The EU takes legal action against Poland over rule of law dispute. Indonesia's $6 billion airport bid to rival Singapore raises eyebrows. Now the world news in detail. Asian countries are stepping up anti-infection measures as the Omicron variant spreads in the region. Indonesia confirmed its first Omicron case on December 16th. The government is stepping up restrictions from Friday. Singapore has been accepting vaccinated travelers from about 20 countries, including the United States, Britain and Malaysia, without quarantine. India has confirmed more than 200 Omicron cases so far. The country's health secretary on Tuesday asked state governments to step up anti-infection efforts, such as imposing nighttime curfews and restricting large gatherings. The EU has launched legal action against Poland for ignoring the bloc's law and undermining judicial independence, prompting a sharp rebuke from Warsaw. Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki on Wednesday said the EU's decision reflected a trend towards bureaucratic centralism in Brussels that has to be stopped. The step escalates a long-running feud between Warsaw and Brussels over Poland's perceived backsliding on EU democratic norms. A $6 billion proposal to turn an Indonesian airport into a regional hub rivaling Singapore and Kuala Lumpur has sparked concern among local tour operators who question the transparency and feasibility of the project. Indonesia's state-owned airport operator and an Indian-led consortium proposed transforming Kuala Namu International Airport in North Sumatra province into one of the region's busiest airports with 50 million passengers every year. Under the plan, the airport would see passenger numbers rise five-fold compared with the pre-pandemic levels to rival Kuala Lumpur International Airport and Shanghai. That ends World News. Prior to concluding, the headlines of the World News once again. Asian nations stepping up anti-infection measures. The EU takes legal action against Poland over rule of law dispute. Indonesia's $6 billion airport bid to rival Singapore raises eyebrows. With that, we conclude the World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
Christmas and New Year sales with CIB Janujaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable prizes and vouchers for CIB beers during the entire month of December. 20% discount will be given for bank cards and for gift vouchers. Visit CIB today as well.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
According to the current investment subsidy scheme implemented to encourage rubber cultivation, the subsidy per hectare for rubber recultivations and new cultivations is paid in 8 installments over a period of 7 years. Accordingly, 350,000 rupees per hectare is paid for rubber recultivations and 300,000 rupees per hectare for new rubber cultivation in 8 installments. The Cabinet Ministers approved the proposal presented by Honourable Minister of Plantation to pay this subsidy in 5 installments to encourage the rubber cultivators by overcoming the shortcomings of the methods currently in operation. That ends Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on with sports news.
After 20 group stage matches, an eliminator and 2 qualifiers, the culmination of this year's Lanka Premier League 2021 witnessed Gol Gladiators and Jaffna Kings vying for top spot in a repeat of last year's final. En route, Kings have pretty much trounced nearly every team they have played, while Gladiators have been less polished but are crucially the only team to have beaten Kings. The final is scheduled to take place at the Suryavava International Cricket Stadium in Hambantota today at 7:30 p.m. local time. The state broadcaster, the SLBC, will bring ball-by-ball coverage of the event on Vision FM 102.1 and 102.3 FM. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Under-19 cricket team leaves the island today to play the 9th edition of the Under-19 Asia Cup in the UAE from the 23rd to 31st of December 2021. Lankan juniors will be led by Josephian star Dunit Vellalage with former national player Avishku Gunawardana as head coach. That ends sports news.
For all foreign currencies remitted through NSB based on the US dollar value, 10 rupees more per dollar, plus more gifts until 31st December 2021. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Information and Communication Technology Agency announced the launch of Lighting Digital, a national digital capacity building drive focusing on accelerating digital transformation in Sri Lanka through a holistic approach. A series of capacity building initiatives have been formulated across 3 key pillars, namely education sector, government sector and capacity building of citizens. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic News, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Licensed banks have been asked to offer extra 10 rupees for foreign currency notes as part of a broader initiative package offered to encourage the general public to channel all their foreign currency through the formal banking system. As the latest attempt to draw foreign currency notes lying outside the banking system, the central bank issued fresh instructions roughly a fortnight ago to all licensed banks outlining the newest incentive scheme applicable from December 13th to 31st. That was Economic News.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Weather Report.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. The Met Department forecast, except for the thunder showers during the afternoon or night at a few places in the Ratnapura, Kalutara, Gaul and Mathura districts, mainly fair weather will prevail over most parts of the island. Moving on to sea areas, showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in the sea areas, extending from Portugal to Gaul via Hambantota during the evening or night. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The State Minister of Urban Development says the President has not deviated from his vision of pursuing of the government policy framework, vistas of prosperity and splendour. The CBSL says Sri Lanka will meet its debt obligation by the end of 2021. Sri Lanka's COVID-19 caseload is on the rise. The Excise Department states over 36,000 persons arrested in illegal liquor and narcotics raids during the past year. The Water Supply Minister says the water tariff will increase if electricity tariff goes up. A new Intercity train service to begin between Fort and Badulla from today. The enjoining order against Chinese fertilizer payments extended. With that, we conclude the news.